Hello everyone, my name is Tom, welcome back to the Roundtable, and Avengers Endgame isn't the only thing that will break the internet on April 26th. On the same day, we will be receiving Season 2 of She-Ra and the Princesses of Power on Netflix. That's right, the action-packed, tightly written, charming adventure series is back for more. More Adora, more Catra, more Bow, more Glimmer, you get it, more of the characters you know and love. Yet, you won't have the exact same experience this season that you had with the first. All shows evolve as they progress, and She-Ra is no exception. So today, we're going to go over everything you need to know about this upcoming season today on Tuned In. First, episode count. Right off the bat, if you're expecting the same amount of 13 episodes we had for Season 1, I might have to break your heart. Season 2 of She-Ra and the Princesses of Power will not have the solid episode count of 13 relatively half-hour episodes. Instead, it'll be featuring 7 episodes of the same runtime. Now, this may sound bad, but it's also kind of good depending on how you look at it. She-Ra has fallen under the spell many Netflix originals, especially animated series, have succumbed to in recent years. Have a strong first season of 13 episodes, only for the following seasons to be split in half and released as individual seasons. So while Season 2 of She-Ra was likely produced as 13 episodes, it's going to be released as Season 2 and free, Season 2 being the first 7, and Season 3 being the remaining 6. This is a practice that Netflix implemented to create smaller hiatuses between seasons, instead of waiting for all 13 episodes to be completed, which means waiting about a year for more episodes. The streaming service has found it easier to release episodes in about 2 or 3 batches a year, so the talent behind these shows still have ample amount of time to work on it, but we as consumers and viewers only have to wait months to get more of their product. And this really shouldn't be too surprising, as She-Ra is produced by Dreamworks, who are also behind Voltron Legendary Defender, another Netflix series that had the same practice, releasing episodes multiple times a year. This reduced episode count is kind of disappointing, as the Season 2 finale will likely be written as a mid-season finale, which means a massive cliffhanger, but not something as game-changing as a true finale, which we'll now see at the end of Season 3. Yet, I find it hard to complain about this. We get episodes a lot sooner than we would otherwise, keeping discussion and interests of the show going for the long haul. Showrunner Noelle Stevenson actually gave some input to the situation at WonderCon, and I quote, "We get to deliver episodes more often, so instead of it being, for example, 6 months between drops of episodes, they can come much more frequently. It's a little bit more of the experience of constantly watching the show, instead of, here's 13 episodes, binge them all at once, and then wait for half a year before you get another. I think it does interesting things with our episode structure. We basically approach these stories as arcs of 13, so usually the divide of the season happens at a bit of a cliffhanger, so it'll be interesting to see what the reaction to that is. I'm excited to be able to just have more on more often. However, a shorter episode count won't mean we're getting breadcrumbs of a great story. As showrunner of the series Noelle Stevenson discussed at WonderCon, Season 2 of the series will be darker in tone. Not Christopher Nolan levels of dark, we'll still have moments of levity, but the story won't be afraid to go to these places. According to Noelle Stevenson herself, the darkness is something that's inherent in the story. So much of Season 1 is about setting up these power structures, and setting up these characters, but there's a lot there. Just the conflicted feelings between the characters, the dark plot of the villains. It's just something that we dove into more and more as the characters evolve and deepen. We always try to keep it fun and keep the jokes coming, but sometimes a lot of our episodes will be all fun and games until at the end, it's Adora with tears running down her face. And in terms of the lessons that stem from the darkness, Stevenson had this to say. Even though it's not a world with sexism as we know it, the characters will still deal with the stresses and anxieties that we deal with every single day in this world. We want to make a world that's both an escape and a fun place to go to get away from the real world, but also one that isn't afraid to take a look at and work through the feelings of watching what's happening to our world, the fear and sadness around that. Now, this is something that shouldn't be too unexpected. After all, it's a serialized animated series in 2019. Just look at Gravity Falls, Steven Universe, Star vs. the Forces of Evil, or as we mentioned before, Voltron Legendary Defender. Just to name a few, these cartoons all started out light in tone with dark moments here and there, with a few moments that inspired us to sit there and think, but as the stories advanced, these shows went places. Places that forced the characters we all know and love to grow. Not to mention it's a story that's grounded in war. War isn't fun in games. People get hurt, people die, and it leaves a long-lasting effect not only on those people, but the world itself. Considering how many emotional, thought-provoking moments were in Season 1, especially with Catra, I can only imagine how we're all going to walk away from this season. On a lighter note, we'll be seeing more characters from the original series. As to be expected of any reboot, Season 2 of She-Ra will continue to pull from the roster of characters found in the original series. In the past, Stevenson has pretty much shut down all hope of He-Man himself being introduced into a reboot anytime soon, but that doesn't mean that everyone else is off the table. According to Stevenson, there's definitely some cool new cameos coming up, and then just even more next season, but stay tuned. Looking back on the first season and seeing how well they both reimagined and integrated lead characters, princesses, and antagonists into a modern cartoon storytelling, any new additions are welcome with open arms. However, homages to the 80s series don't end there. A clip revealed at the 2019 WonderCon panel featured a sequence where Bo strategizes a mission that visualized the characters in outfits of the original incarnations. The voice actors even did their best to imitate the original cast. Shots within the scene itself even shared composition from the original series. It's a great level of detail for fans old and new to enjoy. Lastly, Adora and Catra will continue to grow. Of course, a new season of any show will probably want to develop their main characters as the story continues. This is something She-Ra Season 2 aims to deliver with Adora and Catra. The official synopsis for Season 2 reads, "Firmly at the lead of the Princess Alliance, Adora embarks on a quest of self-discovery to learn more about her past and her future as She-Ra. With Catra rising the ranks of the Horde, the rebellion must fight to thwart her next attack." We can assume that the journeys these two embark on will further parallel each other as they deal with a similar obstacle mirrored between the two sides, becoming a leader. The trials and tribulations that accompany this alongside the internal and external conflicts along the way, Stevenson had this to say about Adora. Adora has inherited the mantle from Mara, which I think as women we deal with a lot. You feel like you're looking up to the women who came just a few steps before you to see what you can learn. I think it's part like even the women coming after us, we sort of know that they'll go farther than we ever could. And so, the feeling of getting the torch passed to her by Mara, and what do I do now? How do I both avoid what happened to her and also succeed in the ways that she succeeded as well? I think she's sort of figuring it out, and I think that's kind of where we are as women too. As for Catra, AJ Michalka and Lauren Ash had this to say.
Catra gets down and dirty. I mean, we're going to really see like a very aggressive side of that character.
Yeah. I mean, anything with Scorpia and Catra is so fun. I think there's some good play in this season. Getting able to see, again, that unrequited love that we're talking about. Somebody being just so blind to it. She's right here.
And they aren't the only ones who have time to shine this season, with Marcus Scriber, voice of Bo, Karen Fukuhara, voice of Glimmer, and Merritt Leighton, voice of Frosta, all pitching in on what to expect from their characters in Season 2 as well.
For Glimmer, I think in Season 1 she's, working towards her independence, and in Season 2 you can see more of her leadership. And with that comes a lot of struggles within herself, trying to figure out how to defeat such an evil group of people, the evil Horde, without playing dirty.
I think Bo is definitely struggling with the fact that Entrapta has been captured by the Horde, and now she's working with them to create tech. He's trying to find it within himself to realize that he is a tech master on her level and that he can combat the Horde using his tech.
Frosta is just starting to burst out of her shell. She's coming out of it so fast. She's just like, I want to make friends, I want to have all the fun, I want to beat up robots, I just want to have a great time. But she also doesn't know, doesn't know boundaries or how to really have friends because she's always been a ruler for as long as she can remember. And I think that's really interesting, and also her friendship with Glimmer and trying to, she's like sees her as like so awesome and like she can teleport, that's so cool. So I think their relationship is almost like sisters, and also also a little bit maternal. I feel like Glimmer, right? Yeah, totally. Sisters!
Like sisters, yes.
Yeah.
And there you have it, everything you need to know about She-Ra and the Princesses of Power Season 2. What aspect of the season has you excited the most? Let us know in the comments below, or you can tweet your thoughts at Roundtable Vids, and for my own thoughts, you can find me at TommyPQM. We're also on Instagram. To go above and beyond, you can help the Roundtable grow by becoming a member of this channel with the join button down below, or supporting us over at patreon.com/roundtablevids. Every pledge helps. Link down below. If you enjoyed this video, throw it a like, and subscribe to the Roundtable for more great cartoon content. As always, thank you so much for watching. My name is Tom. I hope you have an awesome day, and I'll see you next time. See ya!